As always, I start my classes with a rule slide where I will go over the rules, we'll drill them, we'll repeat them, we'll do actions to them, and I'll make sure that the students know and recall that if they follow the rules, they get a reward at the end. Once we finish the rule slide, I'm actually go into a song straight off the bat, get the students moving. This is a Move Your blah 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 from Pancake Manor, and it's a great song that's very simple just to get them out their seats and get them ready and engaged, because we're going to be doing quite a bit of vocabulary next. So when we're talking about the body, we're actually talking about parts of the body, and I've got quite a few vocabulary that we go through that we are going to drill, and then we are going to do a little bit of TPR. We're going to be doing some pointing. So first I want to talk about body, and I say body to the students to mean all, but also I mean body as well to mean kind of like torso, as that's kind of how it's taught in the books. And from that, I'm going to try and get students to guess and tell me what they think these body parts are. This is all stuff in their book, so they should know it already, but we're just kind of going over and repeating. When we start to get to appendages, I'm going to start asking about plurals. So I say one arm, two what, and see if they can say the S, the two arms. Same for hand, hands, leg, legs. But then for foot, I'll say 1 foot, 2 foots, and see if they remember and know that it's 2 feet, as students often get that mixed up. Kind of doesn't make sense in English, in the language of when all the others are plural, but hey, that's the way it goes. So we drill all these vocabulary words, we repeat them, but also when we're doing that, we are pointing to these parts of our body and we're using these parts of our body. So it moves pretty fast. Now here, I know previously they've used a different vocabulary and adjectives like long, big, small, and short. So here I'm encouraging them to talk about the parts of their body, but adding different adjectives to physically describe them. So I've got some examples here. I'll do an example myself of I have a big head. That always gets a bit of a laugh, and I'll see what other students can come up with. Once this kind of runs its course, we'll go into a song. I particularly like this GIF of the skeleton, because when I say skeleton, they're not familiar with that word, but they instantly know from the picture. Plus, it's also kind of cool, but sometimes it freaks them out. So you kind of got to be careful, especially with the young kids. And we do the skeleton dance, and it's a fun, classic dance for just about any kid. So after doing the dance, we go into a game where we've got this silly bee that goes and stings different parts of the body.
Ouch!
Students have to identify from multiple choice what parts of the body it stings. It's pretty fun, and it's a good little anticipation as they're wondering where the bee is going to land. So after that quick sort of practice and comprehension, we're going to go into reading a book. So this book here, they're actually building a robot, and what they're doing is I'm using vocabulary of parts of the body to go through the different stages of them building their robot. So after we've read all that together, we're actually going to do a classic song, head, shoulders, knees and toes. So they should more probably know this, to be honest, but I go through it slowly just to make sure that they do, and the pronunciation's on point. Toes and knees, you know, it's outside of the vocabulary that I'm aiming for, but the likeliness that they already know this is quite high, so I'm just kind of going to cover it really quickly. And once I've done this, I'll do it by myself, but also there's a couple of different super simple songs for Head and Shoulders that are fantastic, and they have ones that I particularly like where they accelerate each time they do the sequence, so it gets faster and faster and faster. I highly encourage you to look those up. So next, we're going to do some more practice, more comprehension questions, but this one's a little bit more advanced. This whole lesson is actually for students that are on the upper end of the public primary school age, so grade 3 and above. So what they have to do is they can either read what's on the screen, the description of the monster, or they can listen to me, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this out. Sometimes I will get students that are good, that want to read, and I'll ask if anyone wants to read, and I'll give them extra points for doing that. But most of the time it's myself that's going to be reading. So they have to choose. Now this is a big portion of the lesson, and it's one that I find students tend to really enjoy because they have to do a little bit of figuring things out. But after that we also have this. It's called, well, describe and draw. So I don't know if you can tell by this little animation here, he's drawing the monster as he goes. So what I'd be doing is I'd be giving an example here of saying I have 2 eyes, and I'll draw 2 eyes on the board. I have a long body, I'll draw a long body on the board. So the exercise, the activity is that I'm going to have a whole bunch of students come up, and what they're going to do is they're going to describe. Initially I'm going to describe a monster, and the different students from the different teams are going to have to draw this monster, and those that I feel are closest to the actual description that I gave, they get their points and stuff. And then once they kind of get the idea, I'm going to start rotating this with different students from different groups, and try and get as many up as I can, and we're going to have them drawing as other students are describing these monsters. And you sometimes get some hilarious results, so it's a great little activity. And the last little part is to ask them to describe themselves, what kind of head do they have, legs, feet, etc. And we more or less wrap it up from there. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Remember to check out the box below to download this free PowerPoint lesson. Thanks, bye.